Hey guys, it's your coach Scottie. We're here at the cabin in Island Park. I got my two little kids here. One of them's crying in the bedroom, trying to go to sleep right now. But I want to make a video for you guys. My coach Lindsay Matway told me or suggested to me after making the video last week. If you haven't watched the video last week about the truth about what it takes to become successful with Team Beachbody, we were talking after that video. A lot of people loved that video and the things that we shared in that video about your daily activity and finding your purpose and working with that in mind and helping people no matter what. But this video specifically is for those that want to become an elite coach, move on, star diamond, 5-star diamond, whatever it is with your income goal to make this a full-time job, 6-figure income, whatever it is that you're trying to do to match your income or double, triple your income so you can do this as your sole job like we've been doing. Now, we were able to do this in 14 months, and what Lindsay and I were talking about is we don't believe that a lot of people know what types of sacrifices had to be made to make that happen. So you can totally build this business 2 hours a day, 3-4 years, and have a phenomenal, huge business that you could quit your job and make this a full-time job. It can take you that, you can do it in that amount of time with making minimal sacrifices, but we're talking about the sacrifices to build it at the speed that we did, and the speed that a few of our other coaches have done, like Brigitte Linford is number 18 in the company, and I'll be honest, I don't talk about income a lot, but she's making 10 grand plus in a month, and this is their full-time job. So she had to go through a lot of sacrifices, and she lives in the same town as we do, and so she saw what I went through and then did that with her life as well and was able to do what we did in the same amount of time. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the sacrifices that had to be made. So first of all, I went to work every single day at about 5 o'clock, 5:30, and got home at 5 every day. I had an hour lunch. My wife Gabby went to work at 3 and she got home at 11. So as you can see, the day is packed. There was no time that we were ever together during the day, so one of us had the kids. While one was at work, the other had the kids. So that's the lifestyle we lived. I also was going through P90X at this time, so I had to get up at about 3:30 in the morning. Okay, 3:30, 3:15 to get my P90X in, and then shower and get to work on time. So that's sacrifice number one. I had to wake up earlier. Working at 5:30. Before, I was able to wake up at like 4:30, jump in the shower, eat something on the way to work, and make it on time for the most part. And so we had to sacrifice that time. We had to sacrifice a little bit of sleep to get up early. Okay, so sacrifice number one was getting up earlier to do the workouts. Okay, and then I would get my workout done, and then I would check in my challenge groups as well. So I did that all first thing in the morning. Second thing is I had The Slight Edge and other books like Millionaire Next Door, Think and Grow Rich, Eat That Frog, a bunch of great books on audio, on CD that I listened to in my car. So every single day on my drive to work, I would listen to that. So right there's 15 minutes of personal development in the morning on the drive, 15 minutes on the way back. Another thing that I did, and I've shared this on videos before, is during that P90X workout in the morning, I listened to YouTube videos from like John C. Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, whatever I could find on YouTube that was motivational or personal growth type stuff. So I sacrificed, I guess that wasn't much of a sacrifice, but that's a tip that you guys could take away, is I did a lot of personal development so I could believe in myself like that. I included listening to all the national wake-up calls. Those are things that I did listen to during my workouts as well. So that's what I did. That's sacrifice number one. So with that busy schedule that we worked and working 12 hours a day and waking up early, I was tired all the time. And I used to take a nap. So from 12 to 1, I would take a nap in my car. I had like a friggin' big comforter and everything for the winters. I would lay down in my car, bundle up, and I would sleep. And I was so tired that I would pass right out. I would just immediately fall asleep, set my alarm for 5 minutes before I had to be back in, wake up, and it felt like 2 minutes. That's how good I slept in that car at lunch. So when I became a coach, I had to sacrifice that time. So that time was set aside for me for making blog posts and doing calls with customers, challengers, or my coaches for that hour block. So I blocked out that hour for blogging if I didn't have any calls to do. And if I had calls, I was doing calls, inviting people to my challenge groups, inviting people to become coaches, accountability calls with my coaches. So there's an extra hour right there that I had to sacrifice sleep that I used to do. So there's another sacrifice that I had to make right there. And then in the evenings, okay, I got home at about 5 o'clock. My wife was gone, so I would take care of my kids at that time. I did it on my own. I would cook them dinner. I would play with them. And I was 100% with them during this time, no Beachbody. So that was between 5:30 and about 7:30. I would get them bathed and ready for bed. My goal was to get them in bed by 8. Your parents all know how that is. So 8:30 or so, I had them settled down and I could get back to work. So 8:30, this is when I began to work. So at this time I would work from about 8:30 to 10:30, 11ish at the latest. So that was a 2 hour. So I had the 2 hours, 2.5 hours at night there, hour at lunch, a little bit before work where I was doing my challenge, checking in on my challenge groups and whatnot and doing my workout in the morning. So that's what I did in the beginning. And, that was for 4, 5, 6 months. I was working about that much. Here's the thing though. When you're committed to this business and you're consistent every single day, it begins to grow. You get a little more responsibility, more things to do, more people to hold accountable, and so I had to start adding time to my nights. That's the only time I had left. So I began to stay up until at about month 6 till the 12th month. I began to stay up later, past 11 to 12, 12:30 at the latest. And to be honest with you guys, I don't want this to scare anybody away, but I was dead serious about bringing my wife home from work, and I was dead serious about making this my full-time job. I knew it would take sacrifice, and I knew, people are like, what are you going to do when you quit your job? That's amazing. How are you going to celebrate? My thing, honestly, I said I'm going to sleep 8 hours every single night. I've been working my butt off and committed and sacrificing so many things this past year. When I quit my job, I'm sleeping 8 hours a night. So, honestly, the last 2 months or so, I was going to bed at 12:30, 1 o'clock. I was a diamond coach going for 5-star, and I was up till 12:30 sometimes. At like 12:30, I would shut it down no matter what because I had to sleep till about 4. So I was sleeping about 4 hours for the last two months, and I know that's not healthy, but I had a goal to leave my job, and it's something I couldn't have maintained for a long time, so I don't want people getting crazy and sleeping not very much. You should at least be sleeping like 6 hours, but you need to sacrifice sleep sometimes. If you have team calls or webinars and you have an upline coach that is willing to get on and teach you and answer your questions and guide you, and it's like maybe 10:30 or 11 o'clock your time, you should be you shouldn't be saying, oh, I got to get up early, I got to go to sleep. If you're serious about this, you should make that sacrifice and get on that call because your coach is making that sacrifice to get on the call for you as well. So don't make excuses for yourself, which ties back into the other one. So those are some of the sacrifices I made, but here's the thing that I want to share about those sacrifices. So those are the times that I worked, but here's the thing about that. Like, I had to communicate with my wife because she did have 2 nights off a week, and we never saw each other. So we had to have open communication about why I'm doing this and sacrifice those 2 nights that we had normally to be together and be like, okay, baby, this is my thing. This is what we're doing. This is why I'm doing it, because I'm bringing you home from work. It's going to be a struggle for now, but struggle is much less painful than regret. And if we keep doing this, we'll bring you home and we'll have all the time in the world to be together and spend that time. So I had to sacrifice time with my wife, sacrifice sleep as well. So one of my greatest passions, when I was little, I wanted to be a pro baseball player. I played in the Little League World Series in 1994. My passion was baseball, and that's what I wanted to do, was be a pro baseball player. That didn't happen, as you guys all know. My life of what I've shared, what I would consider little failures, things that I thought defined me. But later on in my life, I found softball, and I found great joy in playing softball 2 nights a week, and I played softball. And here's the thing, I started this Beachbody business, and softball games would take me like 2.5 hours out of my night to get ready, to drive over there, to stretch, to warm up, to play the game, to come back home. It would take like 2.5 hours, 2 nights a week, which was 5 hours that I could be working on my business. So I had to quit that, and yeah, ridiculed a little bit by my team about, oh, that thing you're doing doesn't work. Why are you wasting your time on that when you could be playing baseball, softball? And one of my buddies is now one of my almost diamond coaches, was my coach. Back then I told him, hey, dude, Scott, if you let me, not if you let me, I said, if, I'm doing this Beachbody thing, and 2 years from now I could play softball every single night of the week if you want. But right now, these 2 years, I'm committed to doing this. This is where I've put my time. This is my priority. My priority is to bring my wife home and so I got to cut out some things, and softball happens to be one of those things that I have to cut out. So I had to cut out things like that, like softball that I love to do. Honestly, before Beachbody in the evenings, I played Call of Duty. I was one of those Call of Duty nerds, I guess you could say, where I would put the kids to bed, kick back, play Call of Duty for a couple hours, and go to bed. So I had to cut out things that I enjoyed doing. So I cut out Call of Duty, I cut out softball. So those are some of the sacrifices that I have had to make. So what you guys really need to do is figure out really what your priorities are and make sure that your activities and things that you're doing are lined up with your goal and where you're planning on going. When you can make those sacrifices and do it consistently, you can build this business. Without a doubt, you can build this business to whatever level that you guys could ever imagine, even beyond that. So decide now, like, if you are willing to make the sacrifices. If you're not, just know that it's going to take you a lot longer. But if you're struggling and you need to make this happen, then you have to make your priorities. You have to cut out things out of your life that you don't need. If you watch TV at all, that needs to go. If you're, if you're playing video games, that has to go. That has to go. It's like, don't complain that you don't have time if you're not willing to cut out a little sleep or cut out video games or cut out hobbies that don't move you forward. Like, if you love that hobby so much, like, why don't you build this business, and then 2 years from now you could do that hobby full time and make that something you do all the time. So those are some of the sacrifices that you guys have to make. That's if you want to build it fast. You can build this in, like I said, you can build this like in 3, 4, 5 years to a six-figure income. But if I'm talking, if you want to do, like, we have 3 coaches on our team that built this business to a 6-figure income already in about 14 to 16 months, and it's because they made sacrifices like this, like the ones I'm talking about. So it all depends, like, what you want, and if you're willing to make that type of sacrifice. Heck, right now I put my kids to sleep, and I was up late last night working because I'm up here at the cabin, and I wanted to spend time with my 2 littlest kids, and I did my work at night, and I stayed up really late, and they woke up really early. So, like, right now there's nothing I would rather be doing than taking a nap with them, but I committed to making this video. So that's a little sacrifice that I am making right now. So you have to learn to make sacrifices and understand that success doesn't come easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But the cool thing is you can decide that you're going to be one of those people that are going to do it, and then make those sacrifices. And then you got to stay committed, because this is a business that people count on you for an example. Especially if you brought them in, they're counting on you to lead the way. So if you want to build this business, you better stay consistent, because if you do it for like a month, you kick butt for a month, and then you're like, something comes up, like a new video game or whatever, and you start focusing on that, your people are so lost, they don't even know what to do. They don't know what to follow. And that all ties back into what I shared last week about, if at the end of the day you look at your day and what you did, you can say, if my team did what I did, would it grow? If your team was out playing softball games or out playing video games or sleeping 12 hours a night, would your team grow? Absolutely not. So make the sacrifices if you are serious about making this happen, because it will completely change your lives, guys. You guys have watched the videos. We were able to pay off our home in less than 2 years. A home that we had to refinance because we couldn't afford it. I was able to bring my wife home. I've been a full-time stay-at-home dad for a year and a half now, and here I am at our dream cabin on the lake on a Monday, and I'm going to be here from Sunday through Thursday just hanging out with my 2 little kids. So that is freedom. It's crazy. I talked to some of my coaches that have built this business and that are working on it right now. I was like, man, if you could honestly just spend 1 week or 2 weeks living the life like we do right now, as a successful Team Beachbody coach, helping people, making videos, blogging, guiding people to achieve their goals and dreams, and not having to ask people for time to spend with your family. If you could just be in those shoes and feel that, I tell you what, you would make any sacrifice that you had to make that happen. If you could just feel that and sense that and know what that was like, you would cut out so many things out of your life that are so not necessary to make those dreams come true for you guys. So I'm challenging you guys to get there mentally, visualize it, and don't look at other people's success and lay blame on yourself or your circumstances, because that's all a bunch of crap. Decide what you want and go out and make the sacrifices to get it, because like I said, nothing worth having is easy. make those sacrifices and go out and do this. I believe in you guys, and I'm super stoked to see you guys at Summit, and also a lot of you guys on the Success Club cruise. Define your purpose. Go out and live your life, and be consistent, and show others the way. Because if you can't show them the way, they're gonna be lost, and you've got to be that person for them. So thanks for watching this video, and we're out.